YouTube? It is me, the Waichi Cannon, and hopefully you can hear me. It is super windy, and it's actually kind of cold. I think it's probably, I don't know, 6 degrees Celsius, I think, maybe. Feels fucking colder than that though, so anyways, how you guys doing? It has been a long, well, I shouldn't say it's been a long time, because I made a video and I posted it earlier, but that wasn't a riding video. That was like a over-voiced video, or a voiceover video, whatever. But I am back today.
I'm back, baby!
And we're gonna see how this goes. And I got a few things that I want to talk about, and I think some of them are gonna piss people off, but that's okay, because I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. Now that we are sufficiently out of town into the highway speeds, I want to talk about the Roman Catholic Church. No, I'm not going to try to convert you or invite you to the church or whatever. And that's for one simple reason. Well, actually, I guess two simple reasons. A, that's douchey. But B, I'm not part of the church anymore. So, my story is this. I was raised a Catholic, a Roman Catholic, and throughout my whole life, I tried, well, I shouldn't say my whole life, throughout my younger life, I tried to kind of adhere to that shit, you know, following their rules and fucking bullshit like that. But it always sat wrong with me how the church dealt with the LGBTQ community. Okay, like, granted, when I was a kid, I didn't know any gay guys or gay chicks. I didn't know any transsexuals. I didn't know any of them, right? It was just like, I grew up in a small town, and it was kind of sheltered. So growing up, I moved to a slightly larger town, and by town, it was a city, but it wasn't like a major hub or anything, but I think there was like 80,000 people in it or something like that. And so I started going to junior high and high school there, and you know, as you do, you meet people who are gay and people who are lesbian, and I guess that was the extent. I guess I met, like, obviously bisexuals and stuff, but I've never met a transsexual at that point in my time. But I went to a Catholic school, and it was always like very taboo to think about, or talk about, I should say, the gay topic. And teachers would always like, oh, you just refer to the Bible, right? So we were in social class, social studies. I don't know if you guys have that in the States or whatever, but if you do, cool. If not, that's fine. It was just basically, we're talking about like communities and shit and history and all that stuff. And we had this class where we had to write a paper, like an essay on, yeah, good job using your blinker, pal. Good job, turn signals for the win, old fucker. Sorry, I rambled on. The topic of the essay was something that we had to feel wholeheartedly about, and we had to go up in front of the class, and then we had to read it. Now, I chose the Catholic Church and their stance against homosexuals and bisexuals and all that shit. Now, what I mean by against is, excuse me, what I mean by against is that I was going to write a paper, an essay, on how I don't agree with the Catholic Church and how they treat gay people, and how I think that if you're gonna follow the Bible, you can't cherry pick the shit out of the Bible. You gotta basically follow what the Bible says if you're gonna follow the Bible, right? And So I made points about how, you know, like fucking whatever. Jesus was like, yeah, love everybody like you love yourself and all that shit. Anyways, I don't want to go into that shit because that's fucking boring and nobody wants to hear about religion anyways. However, there was another guy who went to my school and he was in my class and shit, and he wrote an he wrote an essay the opposite way on how gay people are going to hell and shit. I was like, fuck. Thankfully he went before I did, so I got to fucking rip all his points apart. So that's one thing. But anyways, it kind of like, that's where it started, me questioning the church, okay? And moving forward in my life, like I used to go to church all the fucking time, like every Sunday. Sometimes I'd even go twice on a Sunday because I went to like 2 different churches, and the second church was like, they had like really good music and my friends were in the band and stuff, so I'd go to basically listen to the music, but it was effectively I went twice to church. So how fucking lame is that? Anywho, moving forward, we ended up with getting a new pope after John Paul II, who looked like Emperor Palpatine. His name was fucking Pope Palpatine. I don't fucking remember what his name was. The fuck was, oh, Pope Benedict is what his name was. He changed his name to Pope Benedict. Anyways, Pope Benedict was the kind of dude where you look at and you're like, there's something super creepy about this guy. He legit looks like Emperor Palpatine from the Star Wars franchise. And holy fuck, is it ever windy? Oh my god. And he went about saying that gay people are not welcome in the church, and he basically like took 14 steps back from where Pope John Paul II had gone. And I mean, granted, Pope John Paul II didn't really make tons of foot movements forward when it comes to gay people, but at least he didn't say that he didn't like them, so that's a bonus for him. Anyways, Pope Benedict was like, yeah, fuck the gay people. I mean, in so many words, he didn't actually say that. But he's like, fuck the gay people, being gay is wrong, the Bible says it, blah, blah, blah. And at that point in time, I was like, fuck this shit. If they're gonna start fucking spewing this kind of hate, I don't need to be part of this shit. And I left the church. And ever since then, I've been fucking way happier, because the fucking church is a fucking oppressive beast, a fucking multi-billion-dollar company that doesn't give any fucking money to poor people. Fucking horse shit. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. Maybe I'll talk about that one of these days. But moving on forward, we find out that Pope Benedict is basically retiring, which, who the fuck can retire? Like, how can you retire when you're the Pope? Like, the theory from the Roman Catholic Church is that you are chosen by God and he works through the cardinals and they pick you, you know what I mean? Like, it's like God influences the cardinals and then the cardinals pick the Pope. Like, that's their theory. So how can you retire from being like God's #1 man on earth? You know, that seems a little suspect. So anyways, it kind of comes out that Pope Benedict was one of the higher ups, the higher clergymen. So I think he was a cardinal at the time of somewhere. I think it was Germany or whatever the fuck it was, wherever the fuck he was. He was actually kind of moving priests around, and those priests that were being moved around were the priests that were involved in, you guessed it, child abuse. And by child abuse, I'm not talking fucking physical child abuse. Well, technically it's physical. I'm not talking about like hitting a child. I'm not talking about that kind of abuse. I'm talking about child sexual abuse. And we all know that pedophiles are fucking scumbags. And if you're gonna pick apart one giant group who has a very, very, very dirty stain on them, it's going to be the Catholic Church. Now, that being said, not all Catholic priests are pedophiles by any means. There are hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, of priests and clergymen who are not pedophiles. However, there is a far larger than normal, I shouldn't say normal, normal's not the word, but I think you know what I mean. There's a far larger than average, we'll say, number of Catholic priests who like to diddle little boys. And it's not just that, they also diddle little girls. Here's how I know that. Just recently, I was talking to my brother, we were playing some video games, and my brother doesn't live with me or anything, but he lives further away, so we game online and we have like conversations and stuff while we game. And somehow, oh, this is how it came this is how it came about. I was sending my brother, because he's at a job right now and it's super stressful for him, so I kind of send him like funny memes in the morning, and I started picking memes that were like very anti-Catholic memes. I shouldn't say anti-Catholic, like I got nothing against Catholics. I have shit against the Catholic Church. So this was like, obviously it's a joke, and I was sending my brother memes. Like there was a picture of, if I can find it I'll post it. It's like, hey Jesus, stop cheating. When Jesus was playing hide and go seek and he's looking through the stigmata in his hands, the holes in his hands that he was crucified with. So it's just funny things like that. Anyways, my brother's like, fuck man, those are brutal. If anybody saw you send those, they'd probably think that you were like super against the Catholic Church. And I was like, oh, you know what, I kind of am. And then we got talking and he actually told me, and I don't remember this because I was probably about 3 or 4 at the time, maybe a little bit older. Either way, I don't remember it. My brother's like, yeah, when we lived in that small town, it was a small town called Morinville. They had gone through a few priests really quickly when I was younger, and it turns out that one of them, and I don't know if I should say names. It's on the internet, so maybe I can, but I'll stay away from names just in case, so I don't get fucking sued or something. Although he is dead, I think. So either way, fuck that guy. He had ended up at our church in Morinville, the Catholic church in Morinville, because he had been squirreled away by a cardinal because he was accused of diddling boys up north in Alberta. So, and I don't quite remember where he was in Alberta, where he was molesting children, but he denied it all, obviously, and the church moved him, and it came out that he had been moved because of that. He had been moved to Morinville, so it came out, and they basically took him and moved him. I think they moved him to the States, actually. I think they moved him to New York or something like that. So he eventually got charged with molesting females, and he actually admitted to that. So I mean, that's fucking awful. So just letting you guys know that priests do not only molest little boys, they actually molest women as well, or like girls. I shouldn't say well, maybe they molest women too, older women, who knows. But so this guy got moved around and shit. I only found that out recently, so I started doing some digging into the Catholic Church, and there's a website that's actually devoted to exposing these Catholic priests in Alberta and Canada in a whole, to exposing them and kind of getting the community to know who these guys are, because the Catholic Church is really good at playing the shell game, like kind of moving their priests around so you don't know where they go, and they're under the protective cloak of the Holy Vatican. I found that this newest pope that we have, Pope Francis, when he first came to light, he was super cool, because, you know, he was kind of crossing boundaries of, like, he's like, yeah, everybody should be loved equally. So I was like, okay, that's awesome. He came forward and he was like, yeah, so gay people should be loved the same as straight people. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. That's great. The church is going to change, and they're going to be more forward thinking and that kind of shit. And then little things started to happen. Somebody had asked the Pope, they had asked them if they would ever allow women to be the head of a church, or at least if they would allow Roman Catholic priests to marry. And he was like, a staunch no. You know, like, no, that's never gonna happen. Which I think is bullshit. If women want to lead a church, I think they should. And there's a lot of religions out there that allow them, and I think that's brilliant. I think that priests should be allowed to marry, because I feel like if they weren't, how do I word this delicately? If they were getting some action, they wouldn't have to go after little kids. That's just my theory. I mean, they might still go after little kids. Maybe it's just like a whole pervasive mindset that they have. I'm not sure. I'm not a priest, so. Anyways, move forward. The Holy Pope, Pope Francis, he recently just came out as saying that the Roman Catholic Church would never bless a gay marriage. And I was like, whoa, pump the brakes, bitch. Weren't you the ones who said that gay people should be loved? And isn't part of loving them accepting who they are? And you'll have Catholics, I'm sure there's Catholics watching this, who are like, wow, the Roman Catholic Church loves the person, not the sins. Go fuck your hat. Fuck that shit. You know, it's not a sin to love who you love. It's not a sin. I mean, unless it's a fucking kid, then you can go fucking die. But if you're gonna love, if you're a man and you love another man, or you're a woman, you love another woman, or whatever it may be, like, why can't you guys, why can't you guys be loved by the church? You know, I think that's bullshit. So, fuck me. If I were the Pope, I'd be like, fuck yeah, man, let's fucking marry everybody. Everybody has the right to be married to whoever the fuck they want. And frankly, love is love, man. All that being said, I have a real problem with that shit. I really, really do. But the whole thing that I'm getting at it here is, why is it okay for the Roman Catholic Church to say it's bad to be gay, yet they're like the #1 perpetrator of, I mean, that's probably not a statistic, but they're like super high quantities of perpetrators who are fucking kids. You know, like, why is it okay for popes to fucking fuck little boys, and a grown adult can't have sex with another grown adult? You know what I mean? Anyways, that's just the food for thought that I had when I was riding my bike here. But anyways, I digress. It just pisses me off. And I mean, I don't necessarily want to rant on things so much, but this one just kind of sticks with me because I was in that church, and that's like, it's like a stain on me almost, I've never fucked a kid. I don't want to fuck a kid. Don't get me wrong here. But, like, I'm somehow connected to these fucking scumbags, and that bothers me. With all that being said, I at the beginning I told you about my parents who raised me Catholic, and I thought that they were super Catholic and stuff. But like, over the years, as my parents and I got super, super close, I found out that they had stopped going to church altogether. And I was like, well, so I asked them, I was like, well, why have you stopped going to church? Like, you guys used to go to church every Sunday. And my dad looked at me square in the eyes. He's like, I don't agree with their policy on gay marriage. I was like, okay, that's awesome. He's like, so I stopped going because they kept spewing garbage about love, and they didn't love. And I was like, that's fucking honorable, man. I really dig that. That's cool. Because we have really close family friends and family members and stuff who are gay, And my dad's like, if they're not going to heaven, then that's not a religion that I'm not, or that I want to be part of. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. And I asked my mom, I was like, is that the same for you? Is that why you stopped? And my mom knows. My mom looks at me and she goes, no, they just wouldn't stop fucking kids. So I was like, that's fucking amazing. She actually said that. No, they wouldn't stop fucking kids. Fuck, man, my mom and my dad are awesome. But yeah, the whole Roman Catholic Church thing, I find is so hypocritical and full of hate. Like, they're always preaching about donations, yet they are the largest company. I should say, like, how do I word this? They have fuck tons of money, but they have the largest reach. They have the largest reach. They're in every single country. There's Roman Catholics in every single country. I mean, there might be less in like Saudi Arabia or whatever, but I'm sure that there still are some. Anyways, the whole corrupt aspect of the church really bothers me. I clearly don't agree with child abuse, and I don't like the fact that instead of holding these people accountable, they just move them churches, and these churches are so far away that you probably would never run into your old congregation members, you know? So like that priest that got moved when I was a kid, I probably would never see him. Like, the chances of me going to New York and well, first of all, the chance of me going to a church, pretty slim. But the chances of me ever running into that dickhead are even more slim. Like, I'd probably have better chances of winning the lottery, you know? Anyways, like, that's the kind of thing that pisses me off. It's just like, they kind of push their own fucking ideals on you, and that fucking sucks.
Well, it sucks.
Anyways, I'm gonna go into this Circle K, and I'm gonna buy some shit. So I'll be back in a bit. Super quick, super painless. Where the fuck was I? Anyways, if you're a part of the Catholic Church, I don't hate you or anything. Just I'm just voicing my own opinions, and being an ex-Catholic myself, I feel like I'm in the prime position to fucking do that. So the moral of my ranty story over here is that I think that people need to learn how to respect other people. I find that the world has far too much hate in it, and if I can do my part to make people happy, that's what I'm gonna do. As it stands, I am a very happy person these days, and I hope you are too. Hopefully this rant, this is my first one back, obviously, so I kind of feel like I'm all over the place. So I'm gonna try to edit this and make it coherent. So hopefully you guys liked it, and yeah, until next time, I'm the Cannon. Thanks for watching, y'all.